Good evening. Woohoo! My people, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Chelsea 19, I see you. Tilly Kuti, Bessie B455, Lizzie. Everybody's just coming in and coming in. I'm coming in hot. Hello, hello. Royal Dibaba, I see you. Good evening. Can somebody confirm if they can hear my sound and if they can hear me loud and clear? Music TBG, good evening. I have SASHA P tonight. Hi, good evening, Mama. Royal D Baba, could you do me a favor? Can you hear me? Could you confirm? Can you hear me? I need to know that my sound is okay. Favored B, I see you. You haven't been here for a while. Favored, it's clearly, yeah, you can hear me. Oh, thank you so much. Hope it's crisp. It's not confirmed. Thank you. We're waiting for. I just said let me come on a bit early, like 5 minutes before the time, so you guys can come in. You know who I have tonight. I don't want to let her name out of the bag, not just yet. Oh, thank you, Favored B. Big Mama, we can hear you clearly and sharp. Thank you, Tilly Kuti. Thank you. Good evening, people. How you doing? Thanks for coming in. Thanks for joining. Thanks for supporting me. I don't take it for granted. It's so amazing. I can't believe it. This is the 10th episode. Tonight is my 10th episode. Wow. It's awesome. It's awesome. So we're waiting for SASHA P to come in. I said I wasn't going to tell you guys, but I told you already. Massive Matthew, good evening. Idris 29, good evening. Guys, keep coming in. Okay, we still got 3 minutes to go. I just look forward to having fun tonight with SASHA. So many questions, so many things that I've always wanted to ask her on my mind, you know. Our journeys are kind of similar, you know, but we're kind of like 10 years apart. I came into the game like, 1995. That's when Allen Avenue dropped. And then she came years later with Emi Malego. Then Nigeria came, then the albums came. It's just been, because they had, Delectables, good evening, I see you. Good evening, Bimbo. Osagia Napoleon, good evening. King Missy One, Beats Fact, good evening. Beats Fact, you know some of the gist now. So we're just waiting. I decided to just come on a bit early, get people to file in as well. Test my hair. Beats Fact, you're on. How is my sound? Is my sound good? You know, you're my technical person. Or Delectables, can you hear me loud and clear? A couple of people have confirmed that they can hear me loud and clear. Tonight is just, I'm just excited tonight, you know, because it's one female MC to another, so it's a different kind of gist. It's Kali Michael, Simply Bam, I see you. Borre, I see you. Hey, I'm a chill, I see you. We're just waiting a minute more. Christopher Words, we want them to give us some freestyle from Allen Avenue before your guest arrives. Allen Avenue. Allen Avenue, a place that anyone still know. But now it's a stroll of a pro ho. It used to be happy, it used to be down, but now you can't take a walk without seeing a frown. My G's are worried. Who they gonna marry with the hard-earned 12 monthly sugar that is an effect for 1 hour that's getting wrecked. How long would it take to put the suckers in check? I remember then it was 120 and a naira to a pound. When Nigeria get back on solid ground, see boys open shops to get prosper. That's a weird one. I don't give up. Murphy's being just all cooking up jeans. It makes me look cool when they laugh. It makes me want to kringle. This is what has become of a place that I knew once upon a time called Allen Avenue. Allen Avenue. Allen what? Oh, haha. Ofeshelu ayakata. Boloya bala. Oh my goodness. We used to go on stage and perform with Two-Face, Blackface, FaZe, Bumisoya. Benson and Edges. Let me check on my guest. Olakunle, Olufemi, Homirefa. Okay, let me call out. Let me see what's happening. It's already 8 o'clock. Let me find out what's going on with my guest. It's not her style. She's normally on time. First Lady enter. Lyrics Lori Gongo. Yes, so lyrics Lori Gongo. Praises Lori Gongo. Yes, yes, yes. Whoa. Yes, I can't believe it. Episode 10 of the Gatekeeper series. Man, time flies, oh. And last week was just crazy. Last week we had, oh, how much is the badge? It depends. It depends. You can buy as much as you want. You can buy one. There's $5. There's as many as you want. Hey, Bumi Sonya, I see you. You're in the building. You're in the building. Yes. So it depends. That yeah, I think the minimum is $5. Yeah. Special greetings to you too, Eradijai. My guest is late. My guest is late. Bumi Sonya. Ha. Boom Blue. How are you? Okay. Cool. My guest is coming in soon. She just got home. She's trying to set it down, set up the Wi-Fi and all that. And please, because last week, man, it wasn't, Bumi last week was, but my last week was crazy. Mama Tawa Jaila said, woo, man, people come and hear gems. But the Nigerian network was trying to mess with us, but she's promised me a part 2. And that's what's actually happening tonight. I had SASHA here like, I think a month ago, and we had network issues. Man, I said, no, we've got to have a rematch or a sequel. So the sequel is tonight. I cannot wait. Ewa ba mi jo, Ṣòro pé tó, èmi mà le gan. Dre, I see you. Okewale, Moshari. I am Olumwa. Man, there's some fussy hype. That's my dude right there, all the way from Canada. Good evening. How you doing? I am something Agbaye. Long time, oh. I know. Your girl has just been, doing the thing, man. Doing it. It's just been awesome. From Rooftop MCs to Barbara Soki to Mode 9 to JJ. It's been awesome. Honestly, I've been blessed with awesome guests. So tonight, haha, I bring you Ewa Bami Joe. Ṣòro pé tó, èmi mà le gan. I don't know why in my head I always blend that song with Just a Candy. Bum 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 bum. Ga 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 bum 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 bum. Èmi mà le gan. Haha. Hey, drum roll, first lady enter. I am a born champion. George Mental. I like the way you spelled it. George Mental. Good evening. How are you? Thanks for joining. We're just waiting for our guest. Maybe she was probably caught up in Lagos traffic, so she's just getting in. Dizzy Dizza. Muna. Come on, man. It's a female MC thing. I see Muna. Chiabi in the building. Girl. I see you doing the Nollywood thing, the Netflix thing. Well done. We're waiting. SASHA P just got home. Crazy traffic. She's just trying to set up and come in. Tonight is for the female MCs. Tonight's for the female rappers. Lots of things to talk about. I'm so happy that I can see Mona in the building, man. I'm going to definitely bring you on at some point in time to say a word or two. I sent Eva as well. I hope Eva will join. Let me see. Can I hijack 17, 18, 19? Tobari me one berry. Loke. Kel. Can I still Kel and the other, what's her name? Yes, she's in the building. She's here. Looky. The T box, the B box. 17, 18, 19. Thought body while I'm very. Okay. Looky.
Hey,
Hey, sis.
how's it going?
Good. Good evening. She's in the building, people. First lady don't enter. Haha. Hip hop royalty, pioneer icon. My partner in crime. How you doing, sis? I can't
I'm
really see.
awesome. I'm
I can't really see your face though.
yes, so I'm gonna try and fix that.
Okay. Hey, Folake, I see you. You go rich, I see you. Wazobia 008, I see you. Imansi official Bukola. Huh. Man, no spinning tonight. This Nigerian network should not even try me tonight.
No, trust me, I got special Wi-Fi just for you.
Oh, look at that. Blessings.
We've had
Blessings.
a really long day.
Oh,
It's the last quarter, so production season. Sorry, I don't know
okay.
what's going on with these filters. So my days are like,
I can
I'm gonna need
imagine.
a stunt double now. Um, yeah,
Aha, there you go. Yes,
that's
ladies and
better.
gents, boys and girls, let me introduce formally, officially, my guest of my 10th episode of the Gatekeeper series. I bring you none other than the First Lady, SASHA P. Bra. SASHA.
What? What's up, my people?
Good evening. How you
How's
doing? How you
everyone
doing,
doing?
girl?
I'm
SASHA.
awesome. I'm
I
awesome.
know the last time was fun, but the network was trying to play with us, trying to mess with us. But tonight, favor. So
Yeah.
let's start from the beginning. How did you start out
Yeah.
coming into the game?
Wow, that's very hmm. Where do I begin? Um, okay, so I started off like rapping in church and school
Oh
from like
wow.
when I was like really young. So I'd, choreograph and dance at school events and also teenage church activities and yeah, all of that. Then I had a group of friends that I grew up with. We were called the OB crew. I was the
Oh.
only female member.
Ah.
And, yeah, we were a group of rappers as well, producers, singers. And so we did, we did music together and we performed them in like local, like open mic nights and stuff. And so on one ride to Lagos for someone's matriculation or something, they started playing this tape because it was tapes back then, right? So they
Hmm.
started playing this tape and we listened to it all the way, and it was the Tribesmen.
Hmm.
And that was like the first time. I mean, I'd listened to people like Blackie and all of those people growing up, but then this was the first time that it was like proper hip hop, but then it was mixed with like pidgin and English, and this was, the sort of stuff that we would, it sounded like us, it sounded like the sort of music that we would understand. It sounded like our age group and that kind of thing. So that's the first time I heard of the Tribesmen. And then when sorry for the interference. And then when I got into Unilag, a friend's cousin happened to know Larry of their tribe or tribesmen at the time because it was just the tribesmen. And then she heard that I rap and she heard some of my stuff and she was like, oh my God, I have some friends I want to introduce you to. And it happened to be the tribesmen. So
Hmm.
I went by their studio and, I met LD. I had like two friends with me as well. And he asked me to freestyle. And I said, I don't freestyle, but I free write. And he's like, what the hell is that? So I'm like, well, I can write as fast as, play me a beat and I'll write a song and a chorus or whatever, but I'm not going to do it off the pad. I'm a poet at heart. So he was like, okay. So he dropped a beat and then I wrote a verse and a hook. And, they listened to it and they were like, oh, not bad. And then a week later, I got a contract in my email. So That was basically it. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I
Wow.
have a record deal. And that
Are
wasn't
you
even like what
serious?
I went there for. I was just excited to meet them. And at that time, they'd already signed Blaze, who also happened to have
Mm,
a background in it and everything. So she was already
mm,
on the label.
mm.
Yeah. And so that was how I got my first record deal at 18. Haha.
At 18. Wow.
Yeah.
Um, sorry, Sasha, someone's just saying that you should clean your lens, that your face is not really, really clear.
Oh, oh, 1 second.
Okay, okay. Cynthia, thank you. Official Alaji, I see you. I am Christina Balogun. Good evening. How you doing? Thanks for joining us. Thanks. Welcome to the 10th episode of the Gatekeeper series.
To
TI on
this is my
high, I
tab.
see you.
Is it better? It's my tab, so I'm not sure if that's why.
Oh, okay. It's a bit better. It's a bit better though. It's a bit better.
Okay.
So you got your
Okay.
first recording. So you got your first recording deal when you were 18. Wow. Now,
Yes.
what was that like? Did you get like an advance? What were the terms and conditions like? Signing it, taking it to the lawyer, checking out the terms and the conditions, the duration, and so on and so
Yeah.
forth.
Well, I mean, quite a number of sons in my family, so I can't remember who exactly read my contract,
Oh.
but I didn't get an advance, but they were supposed to handle like production of my music
Hmm.
and all of that, which is what they did, like, free production, free songs, promotion, get the music on radio, do photo
Wow.
shoots if they needed to.
Wow.
So it was really something. I mean, at 18, I didn't know much back then,
Hmm.
so it wasn't like I was checking for all those things. And entertainment law was, I mean, after being a decade in the game,
Hmm.
that's when entertainment lawyers started asking questions.
Yeah.
So at that time they were so not really present because nobody looked at us as who was even playing Nigerian music on radio that much. So nobody was really looking at it like it was just exciting. It was passion. It was just my dream. Finding people like you,
Yes.
and it just so that was what it was more about than
Yes.
the kinks or the fame.
So would you say after you signed to the tribesmen to the tribes label, was that where you started to craft the Sasha sound?
Um, I mean, there could be a bit of that. So I think that was where I started to speak
Hmm.
in Yoruba, because before then, a lot of people would say, "Oh, you sound like Eve." In fact, when I started out, a lot of people would be like, "Oh, a Nigerian Eve."
Yes.
Da, 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 da.
Yes.
And so I think it was being around the tribesmen that I started thinking of including the local, because that's what I liked about their vibe. It's like, oh, they're rapping and their diction is on point, their
Hmm.
cadence is on point, and they're switching from English to Yoruba. It's like, I can do that too now, as opposed to just rapping in English completely. So that was where the flavor came in. So I'm like, oh, I can do this song in Yoruba. And I had done, it was Earth, Wind, Sound, and Water, Candy.
Hmm.
I had done a version of it for church where it was like, it's about JC, JC, it's the
Oh.
savior. So I'd done something like that I mixed for church and, choreographed it, and we had danced it, a group of my friends and I. So I just thought, oh, let me try that. Let me rap to it. Let me do a dance version of the song. And so that's how I started. So I came up with the chorus first, and then I called LD. I was in my room 102 in US Hall in Unilag. And then I called LD and I'm like, I have an idea, I have an idea. And he's like, what? So I'm like, that Earth, Wind, Candy, I've always loved the song. I've done a Yoruba, I've put some Yoruba words to it. And he said, sing it, let me hear. So I'm like, Ewa ba mi cho, sheru peleto. And he said, stop, 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 stop. I'm going to call you back. We're going to record this and you're going to say everything you just said. And then he did that. And so that was the intro to the original song. And that's how Emilegon came about, basically.
Can you
The
imagine?
first single.
I did. Do you know? I didn't even know that.
You never knew this.
Do,
Oh my God.
but tonight, just before you came on, I was just saying, just a candy. Me, my Lego. I
Yeah,
don't know.
you should do the wedding
I
shuffle.
just started blending it
Yeah.
for some strange reason. That's amazing. Oh, I even thought that single came out on the Storm 360 label. I didn't realize that was a Tribes Records
It was my first side
product.
solo.
Okay, tell me, when you dropped the single, the album, how was the reception? The industry. the industry, people in general, because it hasn't been an easy ride for a female MC in the game. You know now.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm still distracted with the texture of this
Mm,
picture, but
mm,
we're gonna make it work. So, how was it? It was a bit of both worlds because for me, I felt like the musicians at first were more welcoming than the audience,
mm,
sort of because I guess because I was so young, everybody sort of treated me like their younger sister. So this girl wants to be rapping. I remember sometimes you'd be like, ora, ora, I'm a ira, they were, always making fun of me like this girl is rapping. You know what I mean? Like what's she doing rapping? It's a male dominated. Everybody sort of just put me under their shoulder, like, as if she'll get over it, So it wasn't really like
mm,
there wasn't any opposition. And then there were the people that would just be like, but what's she even rapping? This chewing gum rap, this blah blah blah. So I think I honestly am very blessed because I was really shielded by the people that I was, they were like my big brothers, they were like family. So and it was something we all did together. So I didn't really feel, you know, that much of a challenge. And then being that everybody around me was male, it was like, let the lady speak, let the lady speak. So when you go for interviews and people are like, how does it feel being a male? I'm looking at it like, I didn't realize it was a challenge because
mm,
the men in my life are so supportive. They're so, we
mm.
share ideas. We're a family unit. So I didn't think it became an issue until the press started asking leading questions. I didn't realize people thought that way until I was
Mm,
fielded with such questions.
mm. But still, why rap? What exactly attracted you to rap?
Ah, it's the talent God gave me. I can't sing like Beyonce.
Mm,
And I tell everyone that cares to listen, I'm a poet at heart. I started off writing poetry. And I started writing poetry because I would try to write books or comic. I even used to draw comic books at the time, with speech bubbles and all of that. But then I'd have story ideas and I'd want to write and then I'd get tired writing. And, my mom said, then write a poem. You can always write the whole story. So I started writing poems. And then rap is like poetry. And I've always loved, Crisscross, the Naughty by Nature, TLC, Left Eye, Queen Latifah, UNITY. Like these are songs that I grew up listening to. And they were very definite. The songs were powerful. The words were powerful.
yep.
Like when they're talking, like people almost still saw me the other night and say, "You're so much nicer in person. You don't sound like this in your music." I'm like, "Oh, I sound like someone that wants to beat somebody, right?" But the confidence, it was they're talking is like, listen to me. There was that power in how they spoke. And so coming from poetry and just, repeating that poetry over beats came more naturally to me than actually singing. They tell me I don't have a bad voice, and I do write songs for people. I write R&B songs, I write soul music. It just isn't my go-to, So I just believe that's the talent I was given.
Mm,
I didn't choose it.
mm. Now, after recording, when you drop your single, then you drop the album. You know what it's like now. We now have to start strategizing. Okay, which song is going to work for the clubs, for radio, your look, your image, how we're going to plug the songs, blah, 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 how we're going to do promotions and all that. And then did you have people like, okay, Sasha, you're done with the album. Now we have to A&R the album. So describe to me what is like the whole process of putting everything together before it enters the marketplace.
My personal experience, or just speak on it in general.
Your personal experience.
Okay, so my first album actually came out on Storm Records because I didn't have an album that came out on Tribe
Oh,
Records.
okay, okay.
So just as the video for Emile Legon came out, LD had moved to the States.
Mm.
And so the rest of, my work, which is why, that single sort of like ended up on as a bonus or on joint albums and such. So A&R in the album, well, the thing is, Obi Asika is very intentional and he knows a lot about hip hop and everything. So the thing I appreciate about it is that I was given a lot of creative, input. I was allowed to say, this is what I sound like, this is my message, this is what I want to look like. I did have a stylist, Shalia Shagaya, She was my first stylist, and when we're doing the Adara video, it was basically based on the content of the song. So even like with the album, I think the title of the album came after the entire album was practically done. And so we had to do the intro. We recorded the intro of the song to tie in everything when I was done recording the songs. Now with A&R, I'd worked with a lot of producers prior to the album release. But when you're doing an album, you don't want there to be some sort of synergy. And then I was still trying to find my own sound, like who was this SASHA after Tribe Records, who am I? And so Storm had just signed NATO at that time, actually WFA. So it was NATO, Uzi, and Ikechukwu. And he lived in Abuja. And Abuja is very different from Lagos. Lagos traffic, everybody's angry. So every time NATO comes in, he's just this cool guy. Very quiet. He used to be so quiet, just quiet, but he always had a melody. So he came and played some songs, and they were just very easy, breezy. And I'm like, this music is so fresh. So it wasn't about, I didn't make any song with we have to make something for the club, or we have to, because I've never really been that kind of, again, I said I'm a poet, so I don't really usually make music targeting clubs or targeting a particular sort of, later on in years you find out that business-wise people have to do that, right? Because I'm also a performer, I'm also more big on what's the performance value of this song, how is it, how is the audience going to react to it? So when I'm writing a song, I'm thinking more of that. How am I going to perform it? What can I do? Where do I put special effects? Those are the sort of things that I would normally think of when I'm creating a song, as opposed to when a song is inspired. So with the first 3 songs from the First Lady album, I had said to NATO, whoever did this music, I want to work with them. And so we flew to Abuja. Storm Records handled that. We flew to Abuja, and I met with TY Mix and BC Perez, who are, they were working with ET Quake Studios at the time. And so TY Mix, that's where I met them. And then I got into the studio, and like everybody used to fuss. Like, I'm coming to the studio, SASHA is coming. I don't know if they think I'm Iron Lady or something. So, there's always that energy, like everybody just be calm. And I like working alone. Like, so when I'm writing, silence or empty studio, please, because I'm still trying to figure out my sound. So I got in there was a bit of a pause, SASHA is around, and then everybody's like, so what are you feeling like? What do you want to rap? Because they've known me from Tribe Records, and so it's like they already had an idea of me. They've heard me on lots of music, but I just didn't have my own project. So what are you feeling like? What's the sound? What's the thing? And I was having anxiety, so I got really upset, and then I just left because I felt like I was being handled, I was being managed. And so I just left the studio in Abuja. I called a taxi, there was no Uber there, so it was just taxi on the road. So I just stopped a taxi and entered the taxi. Madam, where are you going? I said, I don't know, just be driving. Just be driving around. I'll tell you when to stop, then you drop me back. So they were calling me, where are you? I pick up my phone. So we drove around for about 30, 35 minutes, window down, just breeze, let me cool off. Then I go back to the studio, empty. Only TY Mix, NATO, and VC. So first of all, silence. And then I just heard TY playing it was one of the strings from Adara. So I didn't talk to anybody. Where did you go? I just entered the booth and sat down there. So it was dark. And then I started writing. I wrote that song from beginning to the end. Like, I didn't stop because I was venting. I wasn't writing a song. So he was working on the beat. And I just started saying, I want to talk about the stress, I want to get in my chest. And I was vexing. That's really what Adara was, So when I was done, I just said, can I see what this sounds like? And then I rapped it, and everybody was like, dope. And that's basically how the First Lady album started getting done. Yeah. I don't know if I stopped to the point, but again.
No, it's cool now. Wow. That's such an wow. Because that's interesting. Okay, signing to Storm Records, what was the difference? Because now you moved from one label to the other, and you had definitely learned some things at Tribe Records.
Absolutely.
So going to Storm, what was that like? Because I heard Storm call themselves Storm 360. So what was that for you? Because that's all inclusive. Were you nervous?
Yeah.
Having a 360 deal?
Well, Not really, to be honest. I think because even with Tribe Records, even though it wasn't called a 360 deal, it was very similar. And my first manager was off of my relationship with Tribe Records because their manager, Ayoshonaya, also co-managed K1 The Ultimate with my manager, Percy Ademoku.
Yeah.
So that's how I met him. So he was my manager. And he, so before as Tribe Records, we had one manager. So it really was like a 360 deal because Tribe Men's manager was everyone's manager. But when I started doing my own thing, when LD moved out of the country and everything, Uncle Percy became like my personal manager. So that it was just him and I handling my career until I got signed. And so I was always used to, talking to people, but I was also used to having to have an idea or have a plan. How do you see yourself? What's the song going to be? What are you wearing? What's the visual like? So coming with Storm, I think it really helped because having a clear vision helped them to be able to help me. And we worked with Obi Asika prior to being signed. So it met me through LD on a couple of occasions. We did a mixtape together, so they'd known about me. But they signed me while I was on the MTN Yellow Tour because we did about 10 cities or something. So Tola Adusi watched me perform like twice because they were managing Dari at the time. So he had seen me there, then he saw me in Lagos and he just came and said, come, who are you signed to? I want to sign this girl, so that's basically how that happened. And so I had a lot of creative brain, like with Adara, when I did 3 songs that weekend. And so I got back to Lagos and I played the music. In fact, Adara, I played it the same week without it being mixed. It premiered on Rhythm in Abuja on Matilda Duncan's show. We hadn't even mixed it when we played it. Yeah, we hadn't mixed it. He was like, oh, what are you working on? I said, I just finished recording one song. And I was like, can I hear it? And I'm like, that time now, you're not thinking of it like that. So I hadn't even mixed it. I'm like, this is fresh out the studio. We don't even know what it is. My label hasn't heard it. So we played it on air like that. And she was like, oh, this is really dope. So I took the 3 songs back to Lagos. Everybody listened to it in the office and everybody picked Adara. And then I wrote a script to Adara. And Clarence Peters. But I wanted Woody Hour to shoot my video because he had just done Gino's what was that song?
Yeah.
Man
no be God.
So, or something.
Thank God. Was it Thank God Man No Be God? Was it that?
No. No Be God. That one
yeah,
had like
I think I know that video. It was so like
it was No Be God. So Woody Hour.
Yes.
So he was one that I actually he was really sought after at the time. And it was really expensive. Shout out to Clarence Peters. Clarence was just starting out. So they were like, oh, Sasha, this is your script. It's very extensive. I wanted to do a whole Black Panther Million Man March, all of us in the afros in the street. I had a full-blown press conference. Big Brother Africa had just started. Then I wanted my own diary room with the chair. And we did the first Big Brother Nigeria. So the Storm office was actually where the first Big Brother Nigeria was filmed. So they still had like the studio. I was like, they shouldn't pull down the diary room. I want to use that diary room as part of my video, Okay. So I had all these grand ideas. And they're like, we can't afford Woody. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to give this thing to Clarence Peters and we're going to make it work. So I cried. But then when I met Clarence and he saw my script and he said, look, like they said, we don't have a budget for this, but I can promise you that your vision would still be really clear. I can make it work. And he did a fantastic job. And so the Million Man March became me, Niola, my friend Toyosi, in our afros and turtlenecks against the background of women with their fists up, just the 3 of us. And then the press conference became just me in a suit and the microphones there and the audience being the people on the other end of the TV. So, we sort of just scaled everything down. The diary room became me sitting down in the dark with newspaper prints and all sorts of things that the critics had done, So this is where I'm coming from. People are in my head and I'm just trying to get out of it. So, from the video, you still get the essence of the message of the song. But then it was really, and it was brilliant. It was really brilliant.
What was it like, distributing? Because like in my case, I had to go straight to the boys in Alaba. Was that what you guys had to do? You had to go straight to the...
Absolutely. Like with Tribesmen, LD was one of the first people to go straight to Alaba. Like they didn't want to sell Nigerian music. I remember him paying street, what would be a street team in an ideal industry. We played a bunch of people selling American CDs on the road to hold Tribe record CDs too. So Alaba wasn't even born then, you know. This was them convincing them that you can even play Nigerian music. So by the time I was on Storm Records, there was actually Joe and what's his name, Obajo, what's his name? There are about 3 of them in Alaba. There was Tijo, there was a light skinned one.
Then
There were like 3 of them that were like
Obino.
So there are about 3 of them that were now like dealing in music, so to speak. And so Storm had their own distribution team or their marketing team. So we had somebody in the team that used to be the one interfacing with the distributors in Alaba and sharing our music when it came out. You know, so he was hired to do that for Storm. His name was Jerry. And so, yeah, so by that time, Alaba had sort of opened up properly for music.
So the next hurdle, performances, shows, getting booked. You know how it is now, the agencies, everything. And some of them were still sort of like reluctant to sign female talent. How were you able to scale that hurdle?
You know, I just want to say it was the grace of God. It wasn't easy. I did a lot of free shows. I did a lot of, you know, people always think that people just, I mean, I was signed to a label, but I did a lot of lead work.
Tell them.
I remember going to MBL, you know, because I knew they had the biggest end of year shows. So Star Mega Jam, and I don't do one thing. I've always been, I'm a multi-potentialite. So I've always sort of, you know, I was writing for Hip Hop World. I had my own column. I'm still being a musician. I'm still in school. I'm making clothes. So I've always sort of had my hand in a couple of pots. So I knew they were doing Star Mega Jam. We would do their press conferences as a journalist. And I wanted my music on there. You know, I wanted to perform there because I know I'm a good performer. That's one thing I've always known, that I'm confident about that. I might not be the best rapper. I might not be the best this, but put me on that stage. I'm confident, you know. So I went to them with that confidence now. I went to MBL office to go and see, it wasn't Tony Elumelu. What was his name? I think his name was Tony too, but it wasn't Tony.
Yeah, Tony, it's true. I remember him, Tony. Yeah.
So I went there because my mom knew someone at MBL Ibadan. So she had just said, oh, my daughter wants to, so she got me a meeting. So I went there and they said, oh, this young girl, you know how they'll just say, wait, please just listen to what she has to say. So I went into this, you know, I didn't go there. I don't know anybody. I just came to say, I'm a good performer. I want to perform. So they got me a meeting with him and I sat down there and he was just asking me questions. So how many songs do you have? I said 1. That is outside. I think this was even prior to Storm. Because I did Star Mega Jam before I was even signed to Storm. So they said, how many songs do you have? I said 1. But you know, I've been on Tribe Records songs. I've featured on a couple of, I have verses here and there, so I can do like a good 10-minute performance. He asked me a bunch of questions that I can't remember. And I said, okay. And I said, I have one more test for you. So he called Amechi. Told Amechi, he's with Access Bank now. He used to work with MBL then. So that was like their social, this guy is the one man about town that used to go for events and everything. Because I think he was a brand manager at the time. So they called Amechi to the office and said, you know, if this guy knows you, then why not? You know, so I have my back turned to him. The guy comes in. They're like, so, you know, do you know this artist called SASHA? And he's like, yeah. No, so first of all, his face is lighting up. And he's like, wait, the guy is, well, when he started calling SASHA the guy, that's when we knew he did not know this SASHA that was sitting down. So I said, no, not that one. This one here. So I turned around. I was like, oh, hi. And he didn't know. I didn't get that show. But about a year or so after that, they called me and booked me through the agency. What were they called? They were in Ikeja, GRA. And that was the agency they used to book all the events. So at that time, they called me and booked me proper for a show. So it's a lot of hard work. It wasn't a walk in the park.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done few shows for like Binat Omige. They were doing it wasn't Big Brother. It was similar to Big Brother when they had the housemates Project Fame. So the contestants would come and then they'll take them on this tour. And so, yeah, I performed on that too. And it was free. So
you see?
I've done a lot of,
you see,
just showing up.
Yeah, I really love what you're saying, Sasha, because there are a lot of artists out there today. They just say, Mama, I want to blow. They don't understand. It's a process. They're used to pay. They just say, oh, that G-Wagon, or that house in Banana Island, I want it tomorrow. And I'm like, it doesn't pan out
Mhm.
like that. Come into the industry and come and taste reality. I love what you're saying.
Good.
It was the same with me. I played a lot of free shows, but people didn't know. They just say, ah, mama, you're grabbing money. You're making all the money. But they don't understand
Yeah,
what we have to go through
yeah,
sometimes. They don't understand.
yeah. And showing up for me because, like I said, I had a background in already making clothes, and I'd have ideas for costumes that I wouldn't find in
Mm,
any. I mean,
mm.
we didn't even have proper retail stores then, so I'd go to Tejo Show Market, buy fabric, sew it. I want reggae theme. I used to theme my performances. So when you show up with costume and you're matching with your dancers, nobody believes that you're not getting paid because they're like, you don't have money and you're doing all this. It's a lie, just somebody is bankrolling
It's
you. But no,
somewhere.
it was just I'm going to show up how I want to be seen.
Yes. Come on.
And eventually
Come on.
things started panning out.
Come on.
Thank God.
I want to ask you something. This term, ghostwriter, is it wrong? Is it wrong for a rapper to work with a so-called ghostwriter?
Well, you see, the thing is, I wouldn't know. So for me, growing up with the sort of background you grew up from hip hop is like, if you can't write your rap, then what's the point?
Mm,
You know,
mm.
I feel like also because when I evolved as a songwriter, there's nothing wrong with writing songs for people, right? But then in an industry that's still developing, there's a tendency for people to think, oh, because they're writing your rap or whatever, you don't have. Let me disclaimer here: nobody ever wrote any of my songs. I have one song in recent years that somebody actually wrote and said, I have a song idea and I feel like this song belongs to you. And so I have one song that was written for me by Black Magic in like 2011. But prior to that, nobody could write music for me because it's coming, thought process is coming from my head. I didn't feel anybody understood it. I used to refer to myself in third person, and my label used to always be, why do you always say she, which so the way I think, I didn't think anybody would be able to process or write for me that way. But I don't think it's a wrong thing. I mean, there are a lot of international artists that have ghostwriters. There are a lot of labels that find somebody and say, oh, they have the right look, they can sell, and they just can't write. I mean, they have teams of writers for these
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
They put them in writing camps and develop their music. So I think for hip hop, because it was always a wit, it was about your wit, it was about your intelligence.
Mm,
I
mm.
think that's why it's so subject when you say to a rapper, they're writing your rhymes, because basically you're saying that they're not their best work. Somebody had to help them out. So I think that's where that's a soft point.
Mm.
But it's not on, it's not abnormal to have writers, maybe not in hip hop, but in the music industry in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sasha, when you were coming out, um, you know, sometimes you're met with this wall of resistance, especially our parents, where people
Mm.
like, music, especially your mom, your dad, what was the reaction when you said, Mom, Dad, I want to do this and I want to start doing this professionally. What was the reaction? What was the reaction you got?
Well, my dad passed when I was 6, so
Mm.
we never had that conversation.
Oh, wow.
But there was a video that we had where it was he used to love to throw parties, and he did a birthday party for his best friend at the time, Chief Olufalai, and he had like Uncle Taiwo. I can't remember one of these people with their afros that used to play the piano. He was one of the people that performed at the birthday, and I was obsessed with Greece at the time. So I just
Ah,
got beside him and he took
Greece.
my phone. And I was just doing, I mean, maybe only my siblings knew what I was singing, right? They couldn't make it out. I was only about 5 years old. And then, they were like, Akila Moya Shepe, come by microphone. My daddy said, no, clap for her. And, that memory stuck with me for
Mm.
many years because he said, clap
Wow.
for her. So I didn't ever feel like, oh, because he was a very, very well read, someone that likes to host parties definitely loves music. And for my mom, I mean, she's an education, she was retired principal, English school teacher, businesswoman. You say you want to do music. It was to her, I was like, okay, when you get your first degree, then you can do anything else you want to do. I mean, my mother paid for my first studio session, but it was like stay in school. So
Wow.
when you're studying, you say, I want to study law. Then it's like, oh, this music thing is just a hobby. Even when I was writing my poetry, she's the one that encouraged me to put it in one book and not just be careless about it. So I got into the habit of dating my music, my poetry. Like, so when I would write it, I'd put a date on it, like this the date, and then I'll write what inspired it underneath.
Wow.
And
Wow.
then yeah, so I sort of like had that background of just collecting my poetry in one space. And because I said I was going to study law, she was fine with it. In fact, I stayed home 1 year when I didn't make the cutoff mark for Unilag, because I said it's Unilag I want to go to and I want to study law. So when I got in for English, but law in like Madonna University, I said I'm not going. So I sat down for 1 year till I entered Unilag for law with distinction. So yeah.
Ah.
Support.
Sis, why do you think there aren't too many female rappers in the game? Because I could count me, you, Bookie, Kel, Eva, and it's still the same today. What do you think the problem is?
So I don't necessarily think that we don't have female rappers, because in 2000 and maybe 16 or 17, I actually did like a team building exercise with my Purple Fire agency where I invited rappers, and we invited about 12. Only about 9 showed up, but I was able to find 12 female rappers.
Wow.
I don't even like saying female rappers. I was able to find female MCs that, up to 9, and we did this art class, and we just spoke about what are the challenges in the music industry and all of that. So first of all, I think they exist. I think there's a stereotype that because back in the day there used to be crews and groups and everything, and everybody had this idea that you can only have one woman as part of a team. So if you only have 5 teams and everybody has picked one woman, it's like when you're picking pick a team player, there are 5 out there that don't belong anywhere because you say there can only be one. For instance, Tribe Records had 2 female rappers. That didn't stop anything. So there's that mentality in the industry. And then there's also the mentality of, there's something I always say to women like me, in that you have to know what your gift is and you have to believe in that gift, especially for a hip hop artist.
Come on.
Because you're not, it's not about melodies. What you really have is your message. So forget someone can sing a nice hook. At the end of the day, you yourself, what's your message? So my first question to you is, who are you? What's your intention? I call it the whip. What's your intention? You want to do music? Yes. It's like an acronym for the first 4 questions I ask you, how to determine what the message of your music is, because people can hear your intention through your music. So if your intention is to be famous, then they're going to tell you wear this big weave, wear crop top, do your nails like this, rap like Lil Kim, and be popping, and then that would be your identity. But the thing is, we're all unique in our own different ways. We all have our stories to tell. And I don't hear a lot of us in our music, forget just hip hop in general. Like a lot of people are not confident in being themselves, failures and all. So you might be a fan of someone's music for 10 years. You don't get a sense of who they are. How is that? But the thing that made us like all the international acts we're listening to is because we start feeling like, he just lives 2 streets away from me now. He's not Didi. What are you talking about? He did this, or he used to date this. You start feeling like you know them. You have equity in their life. But you don't really have that with Nigerian artists. People are they're too big now. They're superstars. You don't see them human. And then even when you see them human, because of intention, you can tell a lot that is orchestrated. It's initiated as a catharsis. So it's very hard to find authentic people. And this is why I love the new era of musicians, the Tames, the Odusis. They're so unapologetically themselves.
Yes.
And that's refreshing, because that's how it used to be before all the, we want to know who you are. That's how I can connect to your music, which is why I answered that first question about, like, I would typically not create music for the club. The one time I tried to do that, the song I hate the most, in fact, when somebody said this song is nice, I was thinking to myself, are you kidding me? Like, I literally entered the studio working with this producer. I would not mention his name because he's my guy. And he said to me, so you know me now, right now, they started playing beats. I started writing bars, counting bars. Mama, they don't do that one again. Just enter anything that comes to your mind. They just freestyle the thing, Joe, So I was like, okay, let me be open. Let me be open to change. Let me not be acting like one old mama. So I entered the studio, and then put so I started doing. And when I woke up, I freestyled an entire record, and they mixed it. They'll change my voice here. They'll do this, and I had a single, and I played it for people, and they're like, Sasha, this is the best song you've ever written. Look, I felt insulted. I can't even laugh. But game face on, I can't be saying I don't like my own record, right? So I performed that song once at a Buddha's rally, once. As in, I took it to radio. They're speaking English to me like, Sasha, man, this is a dope record. I was just looking at all of them like, I know my real friends. I know, I know my real friends. And that's another thing. What's affecting industry women? They don't tell you the truth.
Come on.
Like, my nigga, tell me the truth. This song is whack, I will pay me small, but I'll go back to the drawing board. But it's even what I know, and then you tell me it's great. So then I'm not thinking, oh, so why have I been cracking my brain when people are satisfied with this mediocrity? Why am I stressing myself with a minimum song that will make you think that when maybe you didn't get the line the first time, you know, say, oh, Sasha, I'm just getting what you said there. All that one is from my pockets, you know. So it really made me rethink a lot of things, and I'm like, it's so close, Joe. Let me take a break.
Oh my goodness. You know, that's one.
Yeah.
That's one feeling that I'm feeling right now. I really, really love what Thames is doing. It's like, and that's the word. They're unapologetic.
Unapologetic.
Honestly,
Themselves. You can tell who they are from their music. And that's what people connect to, because like you have a story to tell. You're representing a bunch of people. We're the witness to everything. We're the ones that are the voices. So your personality is unique to you. Your music is unique to you, but you're speaking for millions of people that feel exactly how you do.
Yes.
So imagine what it's like for me to now be doing music that sounds like Wed MC. What's going to happen to the people that Sasha is supposed to be speaking for? They don't hear their voice. They don't see representation. There are no options, you know. So it's a huge problem when you're not being yourself as a musician. It's not just about show business.
Yes. My troublesome sister is in the building. Eva is in the building. I see you. Ha. Muna.
What's up, Eva?
I saw Muna Chi some minutes ago. I'm sure she's around. She's still around.
Hey, cousin.
Sasha, let's talk about brand diversification. You've transitioned into all manner of things, and I'm really, really loving that. Tell us a bit about that. That's really, really cool.
Ooh, okay, so I think I finally coined something for it about 10 years ago, which a lot of people are using now. I used to call myself a creative entrepreneur. And then it sort of morphed into creative director. And now I'm just an entertainment consultant, to put everything under one umbrella. So how did it start? Like I said, very early on, because I've always written poetry, I've always written articles even in school. When I met Ayani Masha of Hip Hop World, I offered to write. And so, I mean, I learned a lot about writing from him, because what I wanted to do was just have a column. And he's like, well, I've not seen your work. I said, oh, I wrote for my school symposium, and I even brought my yearbook to show him the poem and the article I wrote. So I had to, you know, follow him on a couple of interviews, learn what it was to like record it. They used to use like tape recorders then, learn what it was to transcribe an interview, learn, you know, how to write a story, frame it, and all of that. And then I used to read loads of magazines just to see how people would do interviews. And I really love things like Right On. I love Vogue. I love Complex, because you're reading the article. And they made these people seem larger than life. And they put you in the room. So when they're doing the story, they don't just say, oh, what, you know, it's not, I hate question and answer interview. I feel like those are the laziest type of interviews you can ever do. As a journalist, like, if I'm going to interview you, I've gone to read about you, I've gone to ask people questions about you. I'm going to ask you things you're not expecting me to ask, and then I'm going to create a story out of it. So if you ever see me do a question and answer, I probably didn't want to interview that person. We're just going to put the question and put their answer as they said it, but I will always write a dope intro. But so, yeah, so I learned to do that. And from there, they brought the idea of the Hip Hop World Awards. And then so I, you know, it was something I was interested in. I know how to start because I've danced, I've choreographed, I've danced in school. I mean, I've been doing all these things even as a teenager, as a young girl. So I just carried on those skills into roles that needed to be filled. And I learned a lot of things on the job as well. I've tried radio. I used to be on a show called Sold Out on Rhythm 93.7.
Wow.
I didn't last long. It was about 2-3 weeks. But we were a whole crew, you know, Cesario, Tammy. There were about 6 of us. It was called Sold Out, and we had different sections. Hip Hop World morphed into TV. Then, what else? What I've done with talent, I've always done. So artist development, I'm a performance coach. I mean, artist development encompasses it. So it's like your branding, figuring out how to be an artist. And I just basically learned from my career and then interfacing with other people, meeting people internationally and seeing this is how it's done internationally. Because I would go for shows in South Africa and they will ask for my performance track and I would have detailed this and I'll say 246, stop here, do this, do that. And then they'll say to me, they say, oh, you're so organized. Like when we tell artists brings it, they just give us the whole album. Then they'll say track 7, track 8, track. You know, I come with performance music. I don't just give you my CD and I don't rap over my music, you know. So little things like that, I realized that people didn't have that training.
Yes.
And labels weren't interested in artist development. So in order, I tell people, my clients, my students that, look, you're the CEO of your career.
Come on.
Think of yourself as a business, you know. So you're going to need to hire people to help your business, right? So my look, you need a stylist. My legal jargon, you need a lawyer.
Yep.
Someone to interface with your customers. That's your secretary. You know, you need that. You need your PR, your media. So that's how you think of all those things. And when you don't have them, don't feel like if I don't have them, I can't do them. Because someone like me started doing all by herself. I didn't have PR. I didn't have anything. I wrote my own profile. If I interview, I remember my first profile, I modeled it after Estelle's profile when I did her interview. So they asked for an interview when she did that 1980 when she was still in the UK.
Yeah.
So I really loved that song. And I was interviewing her via email, of course, because she wasn't in the country. And so before the interview, the first thing her management did was send me her profile. And me, you know, I love to do research. So like read about her so that when you're asking questions, you're asking, so what's your name? So when did you start doing music? So what's it like to be a female rapper in the UK? You know what I mean? So they gave me this profile. It had her bio, it had, you know, her age, it had a bit of her background, this sort of music she likes and everything. So I just looked at it and, you know, did mine in that format so that when you ask me for an interview in Nigeria, I'm sharing my profile like they're doing in the UK because I'm not thinking of, oh, I live in Nigeria.
Yes.
So, you know, put your best foot forward. And so that's where all this old branding came in. How do you want to do pictures? You do themes. So I feel like it's a bit of everything that I've learned that I've just keep building on. I'm experienced from different places. And so my creative direction work really involved scripting the entire award show. It involved scripting the conversations that the award presenters come and say. You know, so everything that goes on that stage, I wrote from beginning to end. And I did 8 editions of edits. Creating performances, giving ideas for the performance. I said, can we do a bit of this? I remember your performance with P Square. You know, you both had big songs that year. And I had said to them, I said, I want them back to back. And we did that. And after that, you actually did a remix of your song.
Yeah.
And so that's what creative direction does, is like seeing things that people might not see and saying, let's put this together. What's it going to look like? Making D'banj a host I had is. I had, you know, pushback. They say, D'banj is a singer now, he's a Kiniko. I said, okay, we'll put a known presenter beside him, and Tana was his co-host. Because before that, all we knew was IK, Wild Child, or Dari Atalade. And we had done 2 editions with Dari being our first host, and then next year was Wild Child. So I was like, it's a music award show. Let's do something different. So, you know, pushback. So even styling, how did D'banj look? Okunares were my friends. I introduced him to them, you know. So I scripted, I watched the show before it actually happens. That's my job. And so I did that for 8 years. Yeah, people say I don't talk about this stuff enough. But then, what do you do, Sasha? They just see me walking around. They don't really know what I do, but that's part of my job. And then I started with Flight Time Promotions in 2016. And I did, you know, so I started working as a talent coordinator first for the Rhythm Unplugged. And then from the next year, they started moving into festival mode. So we did 2 concerts and it's grown through there. So I've grown from just being their talent liaison to the creative director of the show as well. So sometimes even what you're seeing behind the screen, what's the content for when the artists are performing? How did they come on stage? What's the theme this year? What's the energy we're going with this year? What are that's my job, visualizing. So yeah, so that's part of it. And I have my own agency. It's called Purple Fire, which is the arm, responsible for the artist development. So I did a syllabus, which was, I still haven't, I'm sorry guys, if any of you is on here, I'm owing my students a follow-up, but I did a small course called the Jumpstart Your Music Career. And it's 6 courses that sort of just gives you like a crash course on becoming like what you need to know. because it's an ongoing process, never stops. But with that handbook, with, with the questions and everything we teach you, you know everything you need. And you can start building and taking it up. Okay, I've done this part, I've done this part, I've done this part. So it's a little handbook for anybody that's trying to piece their career together. And we hope to do more of those things, just teaching people about the business. Because, if you don't develop yourself, there'll always be one other hot artist out there. There's always, you have a hot record now, it doesn't mean you're going to have a hot career.
Yep.
So you have to be invested in yourself. And people, thank you. And people only invest in you as much as you invest in you, right?
Yep.
A label will put money where they see the action going. So don't just say, oh, I'm signed now, and then sit down and cross your legs. It's like, what's your vision? We need to, you need to ginger the people around you. They're not doing you a favor. You think you have a talent, so tell them where you're trying to go.
Please.
And they'll be able to get you there.
Please help me to tell them. Help me to tell them. Ring it. Help me to tell them. Sure you get. Now, would you say you found your purpose and your assignment? Would you say you found your calling, your purpose and your assignment?
That's a tough one. I think I'm still trying to understand it. Like with every level comes a new devil, or how do they say? So like I'm,
Come on.
When I felt like I was at the height of my career, there are certain things I couldn't see anymore, because when I started dreaming, the things I dreamed about didn't exist. So when they started, when I was writing in my yearbook, living in secondary school, that watch out for me on MTV. There was no MTV in Africa, So me saying, I'm not giving you my email address, you're going to see me on TV. In my mind, I'm thinking, in order for me to get to MTV, I probably need to be in America, And then all of a sudden, I'm on stage, I'm winning Best Female in Africa at the MTV Awards, and people that went to secondary school are sending me messages on Facebook and saying, you said it, I was crying when you were collecting that award, So you're there, you're not thinking to yourself, what's next? Because it's like, I don't dream this dream now, I need a bigger dream, So I feel like I needed to learn more, explore myself more. I didn't want to get stuck, and I didn't want to do anything that I felt like I'm just, I don't have it. Let's just keep going through the motions. I get bored easily. So I'm like, I'm not going to every year wake up and know I'm doing Channel O Awards in October. I'm doing Star Mega Jam in December. I just got tired of the routine. I wanted something new. And, now we can go on tour. Now now people are on, what's it called? The Billboard chart.
Yes.
Now there's a bigger dream. But my dream is now even bigger.
Yes.
It's live entertainment.
That's what's going on.
I want to run the continent. I want to be in charge of your tours. I want to be the Live Nation of Africa. And so everything I'm doing right now is building the blocks and learning the business. And before Live Nation had a name, I knew I wanted to do it, but I didn't have a vision for what it should look like. So when I see companies like that pop up, and I'm like, okay, this is how my dream looks. This is somebody doing. This is somebody doing. You start learning. So I've worked for a booking agency, Echolocation Talent. It was a multinational. So I've seen what it's like to be a booking agent, and I'm a talent buyer as well. So I don't think there's any part of the entertainment industry that I haven't worked in. TV, media.
Wow.
I've learned. I'm a sponge. I've learned everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
We're similar in a lot of ways. Let me ask you something. Yeah. This term, the term Afrobeat with an S, what does it mean to you? What does it mean to you?
To be honest, nothing really. I think it means, it's a general umbrella for the music that comes of African descent. So I feel like you can have R&B, hip hop, all those things, but if it's of African descent, they call it Afrobeats. That's what I think. But I don't think it's the same as Afrobeat. And I do not agree with it being general. I feel like we always say music is a universal language, right? So yes, I'm Nigerian. That's what qualifies me. It's Nigerian R&B. If I'm singing R&B, I'm singing R&B.
Yes.
If I'm doing hip hop, I'm doing hip hop. If I'm doing soul, I'm doing soul.
Come on.
You don't need to put. If I go to a radio station and then they put R&B, so it used to piss me off sometimes when I see people call Nice a hip hop artist. Are you kidding me? Or even Davido, they'll call him a hip hop artist. Even David knows he's not a hip hop artist now. So just because you can't take the time to classify us in the genres that we deserve, you just bunch everybody, and it's a disservice to the artist, because are you going to call Asha Afrobeat? What are you on about? You You have school musicians, you have all sorts of categories. So yes, it's world music. We come from all over the world. But when you play, what does it sound like? You might have African drums, great, fantastic, but you can't put us under a box, you know. It is what it is.
Yes. Somebody just asked the question, what is talent buying?
Oh, fantastic. Great question. So talent buying is sort of is on the opposite spectrum of a booking agent. Now in Nigeria, mostly artist managers double as their booking agent.
Yes.
It shouldn't actually be so in a structured environment.
Yeah.
The way you have like a modeling agency where when you want to book a model, you go to their agency, they'll show you the profiles of all the models they have, and then you choose the ones you want to work in your show. That's what a booking agency is. So a booker has their own talent. They don't book everybody. They will say, oh, I represent these 5 people. And then they call people like me, a talent buyer, who works for like maybe promoters, corporate companies or events. So like abroad, you probably be calling venues as well because you don't have to wait for a promoter.
Yes.
Like maybe Las Vegas does residencies or anything.
Yep.
So a booking agent would call them and say, my talent is available to do 3 weeks, 1 month, blah, blah, blah. They go and meet people and sell you to them and say, artists. And I, on the other hand, I'm the one the promoter calls and says, I have an event I want to do. I want to do a wedding. I want to do a beach event. I want to do a festival. And this is the sort of sound I'm going for. You're stuck, so I don't know if you can hear me. Are you still there?
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. So like a promoter could say, I want to do an old school event. And then my job is to curate. So I'm going to say, okay, based on the brief you've given me, these are the sort of artists that I think their sound will give a good event flow. And then I'll suggest certain names. You pick the ones you want. And then I book them. And then, you know, so I'm the interface between the client and the artist.
Get you.
And that's what talent buying is.
Yeah. The happy place with Abby just asked the question, what are your thoughts about acts like Brimo and Asha?
What am I? I'm a huge fan of them.
Yeah.
Like
Same.
brilliant musicians. I see the thing about Nigeria, which I've said from day one, we try and market every kind of music the same.
Yes.
What they've done is they've done what they're supposed to be doing.
Yes.
They focused on their audience and their style. They're not pop artists. You know, in Korea, they should have their own residencies. I see Brimo doing stuff like that. I see Asha doing stuff like that. You know, they should have a place where you say, you know, the way Fela, that's what Fela did. Yes. But artists are still not doing it in this way. What do you think the shrine was? His music is different. It's an experience.
Yes.
So he says, come here and listen. You know, you enter shrine. It's a whole experience. Their jollof rice, man, is a story on its own. You know, you have the palm wine, the ambience. You see these street guys. They're like, we die here. You understand the energy of that.
Yes.
Lagbaja too used to do something similar back in the day. You know, so artists are supposed to be doing this. You don't need to wait for a phone company or whatever company to do an event. So people like Asha, we buy into this narrative of, oh, they're undervalued or they're whatever. It's just the promotion. If you promote it right, people will show up. That's what they said about hip hop. Because nobody's investing heavily in hip hop now. It's like hip hop is dying.
Yes.
Hip hop ain't dead.
Yes.
It's right here. When a bunch of people decided that this is our money, we're going to make sure that when you're sleeping, you're hearing hip hop.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
So whenever you put the PR machine, that's what you hear. So Asha and Brimo are national gems. I'm a huge fan of their music, and they would probably sell out venues anywhere in the world.
Yes. Come on now. Yes.
Go buy their music.
Yes, straight up. She asked another question, the happy place with Abby. Do men have to pay dues the way we pay dues in the industry?
Yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
Yes and no. I don't think anybody that's been successful hasn't paid dues. You absolutely have to pay dues. It might be a bit tougher in that there are environments that women would naturally not be safe in or get the same results in, which makes it a bit tougher, because if you are going to a beer parlor and you are rolling with the brand manager or someplace as a guy, people will sit down, you will have drinks, you will see babes, you just about it, you find common ground. Whereas a woman can't do that. Even if she does that, she might be in the environment, and apart from just having neutral conversation, they might be liking her, which would, reduce her, the sort of response she would get focused on her career. So in different ways, absolutely. But men pay dues. I tell people all the time, Wizkid is one of the most prolific artists you ever see. Wizkid will show up if they say they are doing video shoot here. He will show up. Do you know how many times he will send me music? He will just say, please, what's your email address? You send me. I wrote 3 songs for you. That's how Wizkid was. He was hustling, and I always tell people, I said, I don't respect upcoming artists that have their handouts, because what you are missing is that in order to be great, there needs to be an exchange of value. So I was working for Hip Hop World. I was writing for free, but I was gaining some.
Yes.
So I don't think there's anybody I've ever offered myself my work or service to for free that said no. I'm giving value.
Yes.
I want to perform at your show. Don't worry. Just don't help me. I didn't go and say help me. Give me an opportunity. Give me an opportunity. I'll show up and I'll show out.
Yes.
So if you know what you carry, you exchange value. You're not begging anybody. So when you say, oh, they're not helping me, you're lazy. I'm sorry to say. You're lazy. It's like the story of the 10 talents in the Bible. They gave you talent. You're hiding it. You're now going to go and meet Musa and say, please help me keep this coin. I'll come back. If you know what you're carrying, and I'm like, when I'm sleeping, I'm seeing myself in light. I know I'm great. The people that can shine light on this, my greatness, I'll go and meet them and say, do you need this place swept? Can I be your PA for the day? Exchange value. Don't just go and meet people and ask for things.
Sasha, sorry.
Yes.
That line, repeat that line again. You go and meet them.
Exchange. Go and meet them.
You go and meet them. Please, emphasis on that line. Because I've had arguments with people about this recently. You know, they don't get it. You go out there. You go out there. You enter the jungle. Oh man, come on.
You have to be specific. You have to be specific. For instance, I always tell people, they say, but what will I say? That's another thing. That's why you can't just say, I have a dream. I want to be a musician. Just help me. You have to have a plan. And I say, when you go and meet people, if you must ask for something they will do for free. For free. So for instance, if I'm going to go and meet a DJ, what I'm going to say is, please play my record. Just play it. One time when you're in the club, just jam it. If they like them, continue playing. If they don't like them, no problem. Just play. If I go and meet someone that prints, maybe I've taken picture. I don't have any material, whatever material. I can go and meet them and say, please, can you help me edit this photo? It's something he already does. I'm not asking for money. I'm not asking for anything. If you're going to ask people for things, ask them for something that they can do for free and that is contributing towards something, as opposed to just give me money, you know. And I've seen that play out. Like, for instance, I've been the producer of 2 of Neola's concerts, Neola the singer. And I remember when we did the first one and she had said to me, like, how are we going to do this thing? We planned that show in 2 weeks. So, you know, I said to her, I said, we're going to write a list of everything we need. We don't have the money. Like, you're hiring me. We can't afford this show, but we're going to do it, right? So we have relationships. That's a currency. So you want stage. You know somebody that does stage. So instead of going to say, I want to do a show, give me money to do my concerts, you go and meet a person that does stage and say, I want to do a show, please support me, give me stage for that day. If he doesn't have it booked for that day, it's easier for him to just say, okay, maybe he can even tell you, okay, just pay for transportation. What, you've got a stage. Somebody has a location. Please, can I use your location for this day? My people that come will buy drinks from your, you know, exchange value. Don't just go around begging. You know someone that owns a printing agency, I don't have money, but the logos of everybody that is supporting me, can you help me do backdrop for red carpet? You talk to him, he gives you that. Because 8x8 is not a big deal for him, right? He's doing digital prints all over Lagos. So that's my point. And before you know it, 2 weeks we are done and people came and they had a good time. So money is never the issue. It's your plan, it's your brief, it's your vision. If you don't have a plan, you're going to be going around begging people for stuff and then getting frustrated that they're not helping you. But you yourself have to know where you're trying to go. Nobody can do that for you. That's your homework. When you do it, the universe will connive to help you. But you have to do the work.
I feel like hugging. I feel like hugging you through the phone. No, because you're just pouring out things. You're just pouring out things that I've been saying to people recently. They say, no, you don't have to go and meet people. I just be looking at them like this. I say, really? I just be like, really? I just be quiet. Exactly. Shout out to Ogbeni Dipo. I see you. T high on
Nice,
high.
nice.
T high on high. She's actually my junior sister. She's asking you, what's your mantra?
My mantra, this one I've used for years. I say always welcome change, but never let go of your values.
Come on.
So that's one because I feel like change is the most constant thing. And when
Yep.
I read that, just
Yep.
always stuck with me.
Yes.
Like, always have values because that's the thing. If you don't stand for anything, you fall for everything. And nowadays, my newest mantra is love. I
Oh,
don't think it needs an explanation. Don't say
amen.
act
Amen.
in love, respond in love, you know, serve in love, do everything with love as your sense. And God is love. So that's my new mantra now.
Yes.
My focus is love.
Yes. And something that I really, really love about you, especially recently, you're very, very open about your faith. You're not ashamed.
Mm.
Some of us hide.
Mm.
You're not supposed to be saying all that stuff. You're in the music industry. Don't mention that name. I really, really love
Ah,
that.
it's
That
good
you're
though.
like,
Yeah, I always say, I say I'm a marketplace minister. You might not see me in the church. I mean, my pastors always try and get me to church to come and perform and then be more active, which I've done a couple of times. But my workplace is in the marketplace. That's where they need me because it's from experience. You have to be the change you want to see.
yeah,
You have to reflect. I remember when I started rapping, and I love Tupac. And hit 'em up when I was learning the lyrics of hit 'em up. Yeah, you know, my mother heard me with my Discman and my headphones and tapped my shoulder and said, "You don't come." And then I said, "I Tupac." She said, "Is there no English in the music?" Like, learn the song. And I said, "No, mommy, that's how the lyrics." She said, "Well, you're going to have to learn it without, so I can rap hit them up without the 12 words." So I'm like, "The cake you came, West Side, when we rocking, we quit the thing, you came to be a
yes.
but who brought the bad boys?" Plus, Puffy tried to see me with, like, I rap it without swearing. And she said, "You must never swear in your music." And so that's why I started using words. There was a time I'll say chicken, I'll say fish. Then I just started using my English word. And I say that to say, again, you're welcoming change, but you're not letting go of your values. There's home training. There's somebody that raised me that's looking at me as if you're embarrassed me,
Mm,
you know.
mm,
And I've seen people, as a hip hop
come
artist,
on.
you're expected to swear. But my mother taught English. So she's like, if you know, it's people that can't speak English. Look, she said, and she tabled the thing for me. She said the people that were swearing, what was their background? They came from the hood. They did this on the Kiniko. You have an education. What's your excuse?
Mm,
So I'm sure what you're trying to say, if you have the right oratory, you can lay emphasis without swearing, but use your words.
yes.
And I've been on record where people will stop me. It might not even be, maybe the song we're even talking about dancing, it might not even be anything serious. But people will stop in the street and said, "I heard you on this record, and I was very proud that your point came across without any profanity." And so little things like that matter. So even if I'm not here singing "Jesus save me," like, my music is positive, you know. The words that I'm saying are positive. There are songs I've declined to be on because of the message.
Mm,
There are songs I hear, I want to dance to them too.
mm.
But somehow, and it's not the same for everybody, and this is not to judge anybody's kind of music, but we're all on a different path, and everybody's grace is different. So there are things that people can do and get away with. I've never really been able to get away with
Yes.
much. So if I get on a sort of record and the message is something, I'll be feeling somehow. So if I feel somehow, then I know, okay, I'm not supposed to do this. Not to take anything away from anybody. It's just not for me. You can sing it, I will learn it, I'll sing it with you. But me being on that record is just stuck in that. That's not my message. So it sticks. Marketplace.
Social media.
Ah,
But before I even enter that realm, what do you think about in comparison? What do you think about, like, what obtains now and then? What are the differences?
oh, well, the thing is, your career can move way faster now that there's social media
Yep.
because you can be everywhere. There's so many avenues that you can use to promote yourself. Um, the 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 mental health is way worse as well because what happens when you're overexposed is that everybody has an opinion.
Yes.
And as opposed to when they had to even get close to you, it had to be people in your circle. Now it can be a random person having a bad day that just happens to follow you and decides that you're annoying me today and they're in your mental space. So yeah, there's that. There's also, when we're complaining about authenticity, it's made it that much harder to be authentic
Yes.
because people feel the need to, they have to show up a certain way all the time. And so it makes it hard. It's like, start me now, start me now. You know, there's certain things that now you're hiding to do because you're a celebrity. We don't have paparazzi in Nigeria. Everybody that is taking a picture on the jet or on the road, or it's your friends taking picture. In America, where they're actually paying people to get exclusive, Nigerian artists will not survive mentally. I say it all the time.
Yes.
Mentally,
Yes.
Nigerian artists will not
Yes.
survive in the industry like this because they are not begging you. They are willingly offering almost 24 hours of your life. They are giving us reality shows.
Yes.
If they paid somebody to follow you around, then you know how sacred it is to be able to keep some things for yourself. So overexposure is not good. You need to learn to keep your mystery about you for branding, unless that is your game plan, unless that is your intention. If that's not your market strategy, everybody doesn't need to be posting 25 times a day. You know, figure out what your plan is and then work to that. I mean, look at Beyonce. Once she posts one picture now, 1 million likes, everybody loves it. But you only know what she wants you to know.
Yes. 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 Woo! My goodness. All my questions answered. I'm so happy. I want to bring some people on.
Oh, sure.
I want to. I hope Eva is still here. Eva or Eva's gone. Monachi is gone. Okay. Okay, I just brought somebody on. See hi on hi. My sis, this has been mind blowing. I'm telling you. Oh, at last. No network issues.
I said I got Wi-Fi for you today. Like I said,
thank you, Lord.
How I had a production meeting.
Oh, I know.
I said I have to do this interview. So
you know, and
we're here.
You know what you were talking about, especially with mental health. I was actually gonna like mention that, and it's really, really interesting that you mentioned that. It's one of the reasons why I'm also doing what I'm doing right now, this Gatekeepers series. I want people to see there's a process to life. There's a process to this thing that we're doing. There's a method. We didn't just jump up one day and just, oh, I want to be SASHA overnight. I want to be weird MC. It took time. It took time. We paid dues, man. Hey, good evening.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. How you doing?
I'm good. Nice meeting you, Sasha, live and direct.
Nice meeting you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm more than impressed. I mean, I have courtesy my sister. I've known you for years. I've followed you for years. You know, more like I don't know if we are in the same age group or same generation, but I have followed you. You know, the progress and all. You know, the times you came out and how it has been. So it's good to finally meet you and all.
Thank you so much.
So I wanted to ask, what's your plan for the next generation?
For the next generation being the future.
You know, because
for upcoming artists or
yes, upcoming people. You know, the thing is this: celebrities, whether you know it or not, you are mentoring people directly and indirectly. So I want to know, what are you doing? Because in the course of this interview, you talked about Fela, and a lot of us never physically met Fela, but we met him. You know, we met him. So what are you doing for the next generation? What are you doing to raise the next generation intentionally?
So I think that the work I do every day actually contributes to the next generation, and I've done it for years. I've been instrumental to giving people platforms to be seen. I've been instrumental to getting people even signed, helping with how they show up on stage. Artist development is one of the services that I render, and I've done it for free for years. I mean, I didn't even start charging till 2019 when I started Academy to teach people. And I said, you know what? You're going to have to pay a little bit to get this knowledge out of me because I've been doing it for free. And sometimes when people get things for free, they don't understand the value of what they're getting.
Yep.
Also,
Exactly.
in the work that I do as a talent coordinator, I have a team that I've been working with, and sometimes we change them around so that people get first-hand experience on what it's like to do live entertainment and all of that. So I feel like what I do is instrumental. I'm at the table where I fight for talent every day, how talent is treated, how they're perceived, how they're paid, how you coordinate. When you call me and say you're booking talent, I'm not just a talent buyer. There's a whole, I help you understand the value of what these people are bringing to the table. So before you even meet them, it's different. If you book talent through Purple Pie, the experience is different for the artist and for the people that are booking me. And I can say that because they would say the same. Their structure, things are done properly, and the artists are valued, and then in turn they give you their best. So I think, like she asked me earlier, what is your assignment? What is your purpose? I'm working in my purpose. I feel like there's still a big picture I haven't learned, but not everybody, creates a record label and says they're pushing artists. That's not what my role is. My role is to teach. My role is to make kings. I've never really been I want to be in front person. I've been a behind the scenes person, but they're telling me now that I need to start saying what I do because people don't know. And I'm too busy doing the work, saying, let me document it. I want to do this. But I'm going to try this year. I'm actually trying to document me working so that you see what it's like. So upcoming artists, every year, we make sure that they get a platform. So there's a lot being done with respects to helping the next generation and giving them a voice.
That's really awesome. So we're really proud of
Thank
you, and we pray God keeps preserving you and helping you. So
Amen.
it's much love
Amen.
from here.
Thank
Amen.
you so much.
Amen.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Bye.
Amen. Amen. Thank
All
you.
right. Yes, mom.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you too. Bye.
I want to bring someone else. There's someone that would love to. Aha. I knew it. I knew that eventually she'll come on. Sis, I'm so happy at last.
Uninterrupted. Look,
I'm telling
listen.
you. I'm
I
telling
walked
you.
in there and I said, I have an
Ah,
interview where them
come on, man.
I need internet that doesn't stop.
Yes, sir. Yeah, hello. We can't see your face.
Hey
Yeah, but we
sis.
can't see you though.
Hi.
Oh, I don't know what's going on. No, give me
I
a
think your
moment.
camera needs to
Okay.
flip.
Oh yes, I didn't even know I was on
Okay.
because I was seeing the other person leave. Good evening, Sasha
Good evening.
P. Oh my
Hi.
God, I have played your music so many times I can't even count. Sorry, I
Thank
just
you so
realized you couldn't
much.
see my face. Okay,
Thank
so
you so
I
much.
have a radio program here in Bolton in the UK called The Happy Place at Abbey, and what when you're talking about intention and mandates, it's about playing African music in the
Mm,
northwest of Nigeria. You can imagine how very white it is. So
absolutely.
trying to get our music, and of course your music, Red MC's music, a lot of African people's music is what I put out there. So I have two questions. The first question is, like here, I know back in Nigeria, I wasn't really in the radio world in Nigeria. I was more in the TV world, but I know a little bit about the radio world that people had to, and from what what you've been talking about, people had to go to radio presenters, what they call OAPs now, and
Yeah.
give them their CDs and beg them to, and some people was like, if you don't give them money,
Good
they're
morning.
not, they just, as soon as they're turning around, is entering the bin, that kind of
Mm,
thing. But like in the UK here, they give us a set list, and
mm,
because my show is what is called a niche show, I'm really given that freedom to choose the music I want, to get the kind of artist I want, and I'm constantly, like Wade MC knows, I'm constantly running around trying to find artists to play and things like
mm.
that. But you are based in Nigeria, if I understand correctly.
Yes,
Yeah. So
definitely.
do you still find artists having to do that whole thing of running around trying to get people to play their music, or maybe not them, but like you know how there are all these beefs between management companies. So like this DJ is affiliated to that company, so they won't play music from this other company, that kind of stuff. Does that happen? Does that still happen? So that's my first
Absolutely.
question. So I'll let you answer my first one, then I'll ask my second one.
Okay, great. So absolutely, that still happens. I have students that have been in my course that would say, we're doing everything you told us to do, but then we'll share music with people and they don't play it. They will even say pay money, we paid money. So it gets frustrating for them. And at sometimes I'm at a loss because I'm like, how do we help these people? Because the industry is so saturated, and it's like you like what you like, or maybe somebody's promoting this more than the other one. But these are talented people. These are people that take the advice you give them. You hear their growth. They come back and say, I have an EP coming out. With little to nothing, they're shooting videos. They're doing EPs. But they take it to radio stations and nobody's paying their music because somebody's saying, pay me money. I think there's a lot of integrity lacking in the entertainment industry because it was a big deal at some point to break an artist. So you have a J J Megaton, for instance, getting on his top 7 was a big deal because you couldn't pay him to get on it. You couldn't, he had to be by merit. He had to listen to the music and be like, guys, let me put you onto this sound, So we don't have that anymore. Everybody, again, intention. If somebody's in a radio station because they want to be popular and be a gatekeeper, then they're not necessarily invested in giving someone a platform to shine. And then if they even give someone a platform to shine, they will never let that person forget it, forgetting that they are playing a role in a journey. They're going to say, I will play this music. And he sees my side, doesn't even greet me. And he doesn't give me shout outs. It's never about the actual, reason for the, so there's a lot of personalities, a lot of insecurities, and, that people have to deal with. But my heart goes out to everyone who's, killing it, putting in the effort and sharing that music. And trust me, one day is going to happen. Just stay strong and keep going.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that, because in fact, you see that top 10 thing that you're talking about, that's what I'm trying to, what you're saying, do things with intention. And I and Sister Shola have talked about intention many, many times with regards to what we are doing. And honestly, you're just hitting everything on the head. So thank you so much for that. So my second question is, if you had like a genie in a bottle that could give you your heart's desire with regards to music, African music, well, let's say specifically music in Nigeria for the future, and say, you know what, whatever your desire is for music for the future will be granted, what would be the ideal for you? Like with specifics, maybe with specifics to rap music or hip hop or whatever, or maybe in general. You can decide whichever way you want it to be.
I think one of my biggest dreams has always been to tour the world. And I said that I wouldn't retire until I played Madison Square Garden. And I haven't played it, so I haven't retired, so to speak. You have not seen me.
I like that.
It's not over till it's over.
You can't.
But like I've said already,
You can't.
like I've said already, one of my big dreams is touring. It's live music. Like I love the energy of live music, of outdoor entertainment. I want to see 20,000 people in an audience there, 50,000 people, hundreds of thousands of people there to see an African artist on African soil. I want people to release their music, and I can say to them, we're going to give you 80 dates. You're touring for 6 months promoting your music across Africa. I want to be able to pioneer that. So that would be one of my biggest wishes, because then if I'm pushing that, then I can perform anywhere, That's why I'm performing today.
Thank you so much. Again, really, really appreciate you taking this time out. And I just want, Sister Shola, I hope you don't mind me putting this pledge to SASHA P right here. But if you've got any artists that you want to play, at least in the Northwest, please contact Sister Shola. She'll get through to me, and I'll be playing it on the show anytime. And of course, we are on Twitter, so you can get to see everything. But that show is for people like you. So please bring on the music, bring on the artists, we'll play them. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you.
God bless you too, sis. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Sister Shola. Talk to you later. Bye.
That's so kind, so kind, so very
Mm.
kind. Such a pleasure.
So
Such a
sis, so since I now know that you're in some, you have access to some boardrooms, you have to hold for, yeah, you have to hold for us. Yeah, because if
I'm fighting
because if you
you.
see
I'm
because if you
fighting
see
every
because if you
day.
see America, they still hold for their
Yeah.
people, for their guys.
Yeah.
You see Will I
Yeah.
Am still doing shows. You see this guy still
Yeah.
doing shows. What's his name again? Pharrell.
Yeah.
They're doing shows.
Yeah.
Look at Charlie
And we need
Wilson.
to create a
Charlie Wilson is doing
community.
shows.
Because you know the thing I said, when they see you doing it, they will join you.
Yes.
So sometimes
Yes.
I think the thing is we give too much power to boardrooms because one
Mm.
thing I can say I found in common with a lot of people that make things happen is that they dare to dream. They don't take no for an answer. They are there.
Mm.
So because you know this person is always going to make something happen, the tendency for everybody to be looking for them is there. But at the end of the day, there's just one person that is making something happen for himself. Nothing is stopping any of us from going after our own and making it happen. Because one day they were like us sitting down with a dream, with
Yes.
an idea.
Yes.
So sometimes I'm like, you can sit at the table, but I want to build my own table,
Hmm.
you know?
Ah, come on, man.
I
Come
want
on,
to
man.
build my own table
Come on,
because my own
man.
table will come
Come on.
factory fitted with me in mind, you know? So even head is that, to be
Ah,
honest.
man,
Yeah.
man. Wow.
We can do everything.
Sis, I had
Do
an
everything. Awesome.
awesome time. Honestly, you know how we roll now.
So
How
much.
we roll.
Yes.
And it's really funny. I was watching our video some days ago, our performance with Salt and Pepper. I still go and watch it. Like,
Oh my God.
what? I still go and watch
That was
it, you know.
special.
I still chat with Pepper and Salt sometimes, you know. I was trying to see if I
Nice.
can actually get them on this show, you know.
Get them on the field.
Yeah,
That was
I don't
great.
want to
That was
restrict it to Nigeria alone. I don't want
great.
to at all.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yes. So, you know,
I love
two
it.
groups that I dream of bringing. I would love to do New Edition, and I would love to do Salt and Pepper. You know, New
We
Edition.
actually had them on the
I'm a
list about two
huge
years
New
ago.
Edition fan. Yeah.
They are really good people too. Really chill.
Uh, Cynthia, I cannot see your question. You said you've asked a question. I can't see your question. I can't see it. So that'll be the last question of the night. I can't see anything here. Yeah. Do you wanna ask again?
I'm not even seeing questions.
Ah, people, thanks for sticking around. My 10th
Thanks for
episode. It's
sticking
a
around.
wrap. Yes, the first lady, my sis, my partner in crime. Sasha, thank you so much for coming on. Love you, sis. Keep
Thank
doing
you
what
for
you
having me.
do.
Thank
I'm
you.
so proud of you.
Thank you so
Honestly, I'm
much.
so proud of you.
Thank you
God
so much.
bless you. God keep
Thank you
you.
very
Keep
much.
shining the
Amen.
light. Keep being a light. Thank you so
Amen.
much. Thank you
Amen.
so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
Good luck with the whole season.
Thank you.
Love you.
Thank you. Love you too, sis. Woo.
Bye.
Good night to everybody. Thanks for coming on. Whoa. Oh, Bookie is in the Bookie. Bookie, why are you like this? You just sneaking with the darkest corner. To Satnam say good evening. Da 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 da. Oh, sorry. Hello? Can you hear me? So Thompson, I was just answering your question. Don't ever compromise on your values. Honestly, don't. Keep your head up. People like Buki are here, and it's really funny. Myself, Buki, and Sasha, we were like together around that same time period. No, you don't have to. Look, there's something my junior brother used to say in the Yoruba language. Let me tell you, it's only going to be a matter of time. Just keep sowing the seeds. Just keep sowing the seeds. A harvest is imminent. What a dope live. I know. Shalom the bees. The first round one. Nigerian Network was messing with us, man. Tolulopa Ashabi, I see you. Freddy, I see you. You guys, thanks for coming on. Buki, Unstoppable, I see you. Buki. Tosi Babatunde, one of my regulars, I see you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Don't forget to support us. I put in a lot to bring you these series. Support me, support your girl, buy the badges, do PayPal, do Cash App, Word MC official. Shalom the bees. I say hello, good evening. Ti, I thank you. Tammy Babe, Oludre, Asukwo, Yemi C. Thank you so much. Episode 10, the Gatekeeper series. It's a wrap. See you guys. Good night.